Hey everyone, JonesForShort here, and welcome back. Yeah, you may have noticed that my face and hair aren't made up. There was a reason for that. um, and we'll kind of get to that with the today's topic. So today I kind of want to talk about my experiences with being in public. And this includes both during my early years cross-dressing and even my current, just past few months of just, being trans. Yeah, something that I learned was how we tend to severely overestimate how much we think people are paying attention to us. As long as you're not, being weird about it, no one's going to pay you any mind. Um, but now I say that, but that doesn't exactly mean that you will be 100% free of scrutiny from those around you. And that's what I really want to talk about today. During my early years of dressing, and slowly getting better and better and better, at first, the first couple of years where I looked absolutely terrible, I will admit I did get quite a few very confused and occasionally nasty looks on occasion. I would have kids kind of pointing at me and kind of laughing at me. I would have people just sort of really confused, not dissimilar to the way my mom used to look at me. And that, definitely sucked. It definitely made me feel really bad about my dressing. But I did have other people that just didn't care. People that, were more, just kind of either open to it or just generally didn't give a shit. So, I don't know if I either passed or if they just didn't care, but either way, those people made me feel good about myself. Now, something that I did notice with these groups of people that kind of, read at me, that recognized that I wasn't really a girl, wasn't really a woman, the people that didn't care were younger folks, people closer to my age, or maybe a little older, maybe usually younger, but kind of people more like my generation, so to speak. Those are the ones that really didn't care. They were fine with helping me out and actually chatting and just, letting me be me. The people that did give me the kind of, nasty looks, confused looks, those are more older people. I've noticed. I'd be out at a restaurant with a friend, and I would see this older couple at a table off to the side, just kind of making these constant sideways glances at me, and those kind of things always make me kind of feel like shit. Or just kind of walking through a store or wherever, and don't get me wrong, this doesn't happen all the time. 90% of the time, no one looked at me, no one cared. But the ones that did look at me, because I would look at other people, just kind of get a sense of who's looking at me, who's noticing me. Some people kind of look over one, they would look once and then kind of keep on walking. So I either passed or they just didn't care. I think because of how quick it was, I would assume that I passed. Just a very momentary glance. But other people that would kind of fixate on me, look at me as I walk by. Those are the ones where, yeah, those were definitely older people, older folks. And yeah, they looked at me like I was crazy. And that kind of persisted during both my early years of dressing, where I looked kind of crappy, and my kind of later years of dressing, where I looked a lot better. Now, as I got better and better, the nasty looks that I got definitely became a lot less frequent. They still happens, but it, just nowhere near as often as they used to. So something that used to happen a lot, and still kind of does, both through my cross-dressing years and now, was how a lot of times I would get, women would come up to me and give me compliments, on my outfit, ask me where I got my boots. Compliment on my hair, which was actually a wig at the time, but still, it was cool. It was cool. That's, having the occasional stranger kind of call me ma'am or miss, that was awesome. But actually having other people, other women, pay me a compliment, ask me where I got my shoes, that, I thought that was actually really, really cool. And those happen like every. It wasn't a rare thing. Like though, the number of times that happened definitely far outweighs a lot of the other bad things that happens. But like having that happen felt amazing, just because it was so cool. It's like, oh cool, like these women are kind of accepting me. And I thought that was really awesome. Yeah, I actually thought that was really cool. That was definitely something that made me like insanely giddy inside whenever that happened. That kind of mostly encapsulates my experiences with cross-dressing. There is more I can talk about, but I'll get to that at the end. In recent months, however, I came out as trans. Um, I decided that I didn't want to do certain things anymore. I stopped wearing my breast forms and hip pads, and then later stopped wearing my wig and makeup. Um, so the first time that I ever went out without my wig and makeup, I had my hair. So the first time I ever went out without my wig and makeup, I just put on my hat. I stuffed my hair up into the hat to kind of like hide it, because the hair just kind of sticks out on the sides, looks kind of clownish. Yeah, so this was more or less what it looked like for the first time I went out, without my wig, without my makeup. I just had my hat with my hair tucked up into it. Um, I don't remember if I wore concealer. I don't think so. I think I just shaved and went out, and I looked more or less like this, and no one looked at me weird. No one looked at me weird. No one treated me differently. No one made any sort of indication that I was different. I went grocery shopping that day, and yeah, the cashier lady was scanning my things, and I was up at the front like bagging my own things. And then when it's time to pay, there was a woman behind me in line who had a daughter, and she was just kind of like, no, kind of playing up in front of the little like the keypad to pay. And the woman tells her daughter, come over here, sweetie. The lady needs to pay. So I actually thought that was kind of cool because I look like this, and she called me lady. So that was actually really, really cool. Um, that okay, I'm like totally understating that. That was actually like one of the coolest things that like had ever happened to me for a while. Like here I am. I went out just looking like this, and someone referred to me as lady. Like, oh my god, I look pretty good then. I look a lot better than I thought then. And it was amazing, like just that feeling, just being called that. It seems a simple thing, but I mean, this is the first time I ever didn't wear makeup, didn't have my hair under my wig. The first time I went out and I got called lady, and that was awesome. Because yeah, I was really nervous that day, but no, like I started just kind of doing it more and more. Definitely more with the intention of being a bit more body positive with myself. I'm just not being unashamed, not being afraid. Eventually I started wearing this little transgender pin too. Just because I'm not afraid of this. This is who I am. Just kind of going out like this and being read as female, despite not being all done up, and it's been really awesome. Like I've really loved it. Um, and lately I eventually decided to stop wearing the hat, just kind of going out with my natural hair, and it's not terrible. It's not terrible. Now, it's not to say that it's been perfect. I do still occasionally get called he and sir, and there's the gentleman here who needs help. Yeah, I mean, that has happened on occasion, just in these past few months, and that does suck. It has absolutely, irrefutably sucked. Okay, so that covers my pretty much everything, from cross-dressing through trans and just kind of the more normal interactions. People just kind of looking at me but not saying anything. People referring to me either male or female, That's been the bulk of what I've been referred to, of what's happened to me, the positive and the negative. Now, the negative, however, has been pretty bad. So, a couple of years ago, still a crossdresser, but I was all done up and made myself look as pretty as possible. I was waiting in line somewhere to pay, and I guess they only had like one cashier for whatever reason, so the line was going really slow. And there was this pair of women in front of me who would not shut up. Like, they were complaining and bitching about everything, how slow the line is, how they made a comment about the race of the cashier and saying, "Oh, well, if it was someone else, they'd definitely do it better." Like, they were not pleasant people, clearly. No, I take that back. They were behind me. I take it back. They were behind me in line. That's right. They were just kind of making their comments the whole time, and I tried my best to ignore them. Just wanted them to shut up. So, anyways, I'm at the front of the line waiting to like go, and I realized that, oh, they kind of shut up. Why did they stop talking? I didn't really think much of it, but I was really glad they decided to stop. And then eventually, it was my turn to go, so the cashier waved me over, and I went over to go pay for my thing. And as I'm moving, I hear one of the women behind me say, "Well, thank God the fag isn't in front of us anymore." Yeah. Thank God the fag isn't in front of us anymore. And that sucked. I paid for my thing, got in my car, drove immediately home, and just changed back. Just went back to guy mode. It hurt. Just kind of hearing it just sucked. Like, I can't really describe it any other way. It just sucked to have someone actually say something like that, not to my face, but just very clearly about me. Another time was I used to like taking a lot of shitty selfies of myself, and just kind of like in the different outfits that I would wear. So there was this one store that had a really cool mirror department, and I like kind of hanging out there and taking pictures. It was just a goofy, fun thing I used to do. I used to really like. And I remember at one point, I remember hearing, this time it was a couple of guys, and I remember overhearing one of them saying, "What's that guy doing?" And I didn't really think much about it at the time, because I figured they're probably not they might be talking about me, but I don't know for certain. And then, but I became a little more self-conscious. And so I tried to move to like a different section of the store, and I saw them kind of like pass by, and one of them, I think it was the same person, said like, "Yeah, there he is again. Like why is he dressed like that?" So yeah, the more pointed comments haven't really felt all that good. Each time, the time when I was waiting in line and the time when I was taking pictures, both times I just went straight home and changed and just felt really bad about myself. And it sucked. It absolutely sucked. And that was back during my cross-dressing years. More recently, however, with the whole trans thing and kind of, be more body positive, not making up my face and hair and everything, just kind of going out as me. I've always used the women's bathroom, just because I'm presenting as female. I'm going to use the women's bathroom. That's, I never really thought much of it beyond that. It's like I'm presenting as a woman, that's what I'm gonna do. So, went in, did my business, washed my hands, and I remember as I came out of the stall and went to the sinks, there was a woman there who was washing her hands, and she kind of looked at me a little, definitely longer than a glance, just kind of a lingering glance, and then like left. And I didn't think much of it. I just kind of washed my hands and left the bathroom. And as I was leaving, I see her. I don't look at her, but I was like kind of walking straight, and I'm listening, and she's talking to like a friend of hers or whatever, saying like, "Yeah, I can't believe one of those was in the bathroom with me." One of those. Yeah. So those were the comments. Again, the comments don't really happen often. Like they're a very, very rare thing. But when they do happen, it gets to me. It feels like being stabbed in the heart. But we're not done yet. So this one isn't really a public thing, but I do still kind of want to bring it up because it still does very much feel like a form of discrimination. So I was applying to jobs, trying to find something, and this one company responded to my application. Okay, I've set up an interview, and I'm feeling good about myself. Interview, awesome. And then it was like I think it was the morning of the interview. They called me and said that they needed to reschedule, and they would get back to me they would get back to me to reschedule the interview. And I said, okay, that's fine. And so I waited like a week and didn't hear anything. No call, no email. And so I called them back and said, "Hi, I'm calling about the interview. I was supposed to reschedule, but it didn't happen." And they said that, oh, well, they already decided to move on with someone else. And so I asked, oh, well, I mean, can I still ask like why we weren't able to reschedule an interview? Why I wasn't given an opportunity to kind of show off myself for the job? And they said that they saw my Facebook picture and felt that I didn't align with their company values or something like that. Now my Facebook picture at the time was this. It was a picture. This is a picture that I took a long time ago. This was back when I was more of a bi-gender person, and so it shows both my male and female selves standing together in the same room. Like both of those are me. And I titled. I think the description I gave that picture was self-portrait. And that was my Facebook profile photo for a while, because that's who I was. And that was the photo that they saw. And they decided that photo of me being male and female didn't align with the company. And they decided to just dismiss me, to just not bother interviewing me on that basis. So yeah, that made me kind of feel like crap as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, I'm glad I didn't interview with them because, yeah, if they were going to be like they were very much a discriminatory company. I'm glad I'm not there, wasn't there, but still, it sucked. So I remember changing my photo like that day or the next day. But yeah, that kind of really sucked. And then, to kind of tie up this series of really, really sucky happenings, is the time that I was stalked in my car. Went to a party, kind of sucked, decided I was going to leave. A couple of friends showed up, I decided to kind of hang out with them a little more, just kind of chat and stuff. Yeah, I basically just hung out with them the whole time, so ended up staying at the party a little later than I would have liked, but still, I was with my friends, so I kind of felt a lot better about that. And at the party, yes, I am done up. I'm dressed as my female self. Not provocatively whatsoever. It was more or less this. Just jeans, shirt, jacket, boots. It was just a normal outfit, really. I decided I was just gonna go home. I'm kind of done, kind of tired. It was, I don't know, like midnight, 1 in the morning. It was kind of late. Um, I left. I started walking down the street to my car. There's like no street parking anywhere. I had to park like 6 blocks away. About like half a block. I walked about half a block, and all of a sudden, like this guy kind of like turns out from around this corner and calls out to me, and is like, "Hey baby, I saw you in there. Why are you leaving so soon?" And like he was calling out to me. He was following me. He was walking behind me. And I don't say anything for a while. I'm just like glancing behind myself to make sure he's still about the same distance away from me. And I'm kind of freaking out. This is like the first time I was ever scared for my physical well being. And I start like kind of picking up the pace, and he starts keeping up the pace with me, and he's calling out to me the entire time, like constantly, like, "Hey baby, slow down. Hey, what?" Like he's just calling out to me the whole time, for like 5 blocks, and like I'm scared. I am absolutely fucking terrified. I've got like my keys out of my purse, and I made like Wolverine claws with them, just like in the case that he tries something, I'll just like beat the shit out of him, hopefully. But like I was scared. I was legit terrified, and that last like block and a half, it was, I think it was like a car dealership or something. I don't remember what, but it was someplace like really well lit, and so that's kind of when he stopped and slowed down, and like he stopped calling. He was calling me constantly for 4 blocks, 4.5 blocks, 5 blocks, and it's like once it was finally well lit, I felt a little more safe, and I got back. I got in my car, locked the doors, and I see him just kind of walk by. And it was terrifying. Like up until that was during, yeah, that was during like my last year of cross dressing, and something that I never really felt afraid of, was going out at night, was being by myself. It's just I think I still had the mindset of, well, I'm actually a guy, biologically, truly, really. I still felt like as invincible as a guy. It's like no one's really gonna mess with me. But that's not what happened that night. That guy read me as female, identified me as female, and pursued me as a potential victim for who knows what. Assault, rape, murder, God knows what. Like, it's a fucking terrifying world as a woman. I mean, it's just as terrifying for a trans woman, because, I mean, not only do you have, like, the whole woman thing, but then it's like, oh, but you're transgender, you're something weird, and, like, you're more likely to get beat up for it, get put in hospital for it. And it was scary. And that night, yeah, I really wish I asked my friends to drop me off in my car, because, God, that night, like, it basically changed me. Like, I refuse to go out at night by myself. Even here, like, in the apartment, I don't like being home by myself. If my brother's off at, like, a hockey game or whatever, and it's just me in the apartment, I make sure everything is locked. And that paranoia has stuck with me for the past, like, 2 years. Like, I don't like being by myself anymore. But yeah, so, that's kind of my experiences with being in public, with being around other people. There was the good, the acceptance, the being referred to as feminine pronouns, actually having women compliment me, I thought was actually super fucking amazing. And then there was the bad. There was the weird looks, there were the comments, the discrimination, the stalking, that. Yeah, like I don't even like walking the dog at night. When my brother's out late at night, like I don't like walking the dog by myself at night. Because yeah, it's something that I didn't really pick up on until I started like really living. Because the time I was stalked, I was living full time as a woman. Now that we are a trans woman and we are presenting feminine all the time, presenting as myself all the time, it's like it's that those fears have just been so much more present, and it's scary. It is scary, but at the same time, this is my life. This is kind of what it is, and I need to be aware of it. I mean, California in general is pretty open, pretty liberal, pretty LGBT friendly. But you always have those outliers. You always have those people that want to ruin things for others, that want to hurt others. Those people exist everywhere. So it's an unfortunate fact, but just be mindful of it. Sorry, I didn't mean to get all depressy kind of at the end, but it is kind of the reality. So be aware of it. But yeah. So those are kind of my experiences with other people when I've either presented as a woman or I've been living as a woman. And yeah, I do feel the goods have outweighed the bads. Most people I've met have just been amazing and awesome and inclusive. And the people that do, give me those looks don't know me. Like, in general, those people don't know me. The only other person that did, react very, very negatively was my mom, but she is an entirely other topic, which I've already spoken about. But God, my mom is like a whole other topic I can keep talking about. I'm going off topic. Anyways, yeah, just, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Like, if anyone is kind of still feels a little closeted, just know that things, at least in my experience, things haven't been as scary as I thought they'd be. If you can go out when you feel comfortable, do it. Being out in public as your preferred self is, like, it does feel really good. Especially when, like, no one looks at you and you feel a little accepted. It is kind of a really cool feeling. But anyways, I'm just kind of rambling now. Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll talk to you guys next week. Later.